At Healthcare Partners Medical Group, our mission is to provide the highest quality of healthcare to each and every patient. With 5 locations in Pahrump, we are local doctors you know and trust. We want to thank you for choosing us. Quality care starts here.
News 46 is brought to you by Healthcare Partners and Humana. News 46 is also brought to you by Southwest Medical Associates.
Tonight on News 46, crews battle a fire in a structure filled with vehicles.
And a popular Congresswoman is vying for a Senate seat.
And 30 elite military personnel are killed in Afghanistan. News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Rick Vale and Rhonda Van Winkle. Local coverage from Deanna O'Donnell and news across Nevada with Janet Eric. News 46. Local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's Monday, August 8th, 2011. I'm Rick Vale.
And I'm Norma Gino Paddock in for Rhonda Van Winkle for News 46. Topping our news tonight, the Pentagon says the remains of the 30 U.S. soldiers that were killed in Afghanistan helicopter crash over the weekend will be brought to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware tomorrow.
A Pentagon spokesman said today that the Taliban's downing of the Chinook with a rocket-propelled grenade on Saturday should be seen as a single combat incident and not a watershed moment in an escalating war. The crash in eastern Afghanistan that killed 22 elite SEAL personnel, Air Force troops, and an Army aircrew underscores the risk as the U.S. begins to turn over portions of the country to Afghan forces while concentrating more on ferreting out insurgents operating along the border. Military officials said the troops in the crash were on a mission to assist forces pursuing a Taliban leader. This marks the largest number of American troops killed in a single day in the war. 7 Afghan commandos and a civilian interpreter were also killed. No member of the bin Laden raid team was among the dead, but he said 22 of the 30 were Navy SEALs and a significant number were members of SEAL Team 6, the unit that conducted the bin Laden raid and is made up of just a few hundred of some of the best trained fighters in the U.S. military. I'm Deanna O'Donnell for News 46.
And U.S. stocks are tumbling after the New York-based financial agency Standard & Poor downgraded the U.S. credit rating for the first time as a result of the debt ceiling crisis. S&P cut the long-term debt rating for the U.S. by 1 notch late Friday. The downgrade wasn't unexpected, but it comes at a time when investors are already nervous about a weak U.S. economy, European debt problems, and Japan's recovery from its March earthquake. At the opening of trading today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 192 points, or 1.7%, to 11,252.
And coming up, several fire breaks over the weekend.
And we'll have part 2 of our interview with Sharon Angle. We'll have all this and more after the break, so please keep it here.
Fire crews conducted an exterior attack on a 2-story storage facility Saturday morning after experiencing heavy fire conditions within the structure.
Storage structure made of metal that contained both a Class A, a Class C motorhomes, as well as several additional automobiles and some ATVs. Upon arrival today, we had smoke showing from the roof area. As we began the initial suppression, there was fire showing on the what we would call the delta side of the structure, which is the right-hand side. Our crews started off with an interior attack. They met superheated conditions and heavy black smoke. We pulled them out from a safety measure, ventilated the 2 front doors. They were then able to locate the seat of the fire at the very rear of the garage. The fire has since been extinguished in the process of mopping up.
And I know that we had a lot of response units here. Tell me what we got.
Yeah, you have all 3 stations are manned in addition to the volunteers. So in apparatus standpoint, we have an engine, we have 3 tenders, the command vehicle, and 2 medic units, and we have our rehab rescue 15 en route as well.
And then I also, a neighbor reported this. This is not where people live. This is not resided in.
This is a non-occupied structure. It's a storage structure, relatively large in size to accommodate all those vehicles that I described earlier. But yes, nobody was home. We're attempting to locate through the assistance with the Nye County Sheriff's Office, running some license plates exactly where the owner resides. And we'll try to make contact with them and see how they would like us to handle the securing of the building afterward.
I know that we're at the early stages, so we really don't have a clue of what caused this fire. Are we bringing in the fire marshal, or is Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue conducting this investigation?
Not at this point. We have a pretty good idea where the fire originated, near a Class C motorhome. Once it's deemed safe and the smoke conditions and the carbon monoxide levels are appropriate, we'll go in and commence an investigation.
An electrical fire in an office area of a local bar required staff and patrons to evacuate. Fire Chief Scott Lewis gives us an update regarding the Friday night fire that occurred on the south end of town off Hafen Ranch Road.
That being in an area of a tavern. When we arrived on location, we found some light smoke and light odors showing on the interior. The building was in the process of being evacuated. We commenced our investigation and found that we had an electrical related issue in a back storage/office. The fire did not go beyond the confines of that particular area. Crews did a really good job mitigating that problem, eliminating the hazard, and it was reoccupied within about 30 minutes.
So was there any extensions to the fire?
There was no extension past a large appliance in the electrical supply line to that appliance.
And is the business able to remain open?
Yes, it was back open and serving its customers in approximately 30 minutes after the initial dispatch last night.
Pahrump Fire and Rescue responded to a fully engulfed shed fire off Barney and Atkinson Saturday afternoon.
Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue and Nye County Sheriff's deputies were dispatched to Atkinson and Barney for a fully engulfed structure fire late Saturday afternoon. What appears to be either a shed or at least an animal pen was quickly extinguished by firefighters upon arrival. The cause of the fire is undetermined at this time. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue is investigating. This is Deanna O'Donnell on Barney and Atkinson for News 46.
Senator Stephen Horsford and his family attended the Democrats' Jefferson-Jackson dinner held Saturday night at Terrible's Lakeside.
We adjourned the legislature in June after a very tumultuous legislative session. We had literally the worst budget deficit as a percentage of our overall budget of any other state in the country. Despite the attempts to cut the budget, particularly for education, we were able in the end to reach a compromise with the governor and the Republicans on the other side. And we passed a balanced budget despite everyone's predictions that we weren't going to be able to do so.
What do you think the issues are behind that?
Well, Nevada, because of our high unemployment and the fact that our two primary industries, gaming and construction, have been down, that affects revenues to local and state government. At the state level, 50% of our budget funds education, K-12, our public colleges and universities, and so we literally had a $2.5 billion shortfall out of a $7 billion budget going into the legislative session. But we found a balanced approach. We cut where necessary while preserving funding for education and social services.
I know here in Pahrump we've been hit pretty hard education-wise. We had a school shut down. A lot of the teachers let go. Some of the teachers just recently found out that they're not going to be continuing in a month at school.
It's very difficult. Once the state budgets are approved, then the local school boards decide how to actually apply that budget to their local district. And so those decisions are made on whether to close a school by the local school board. And I know that based on the decisions we had to make, how difficult that must be for the local school board here in Pahrump.
It really is. How do you think that we're going to find a way to recover from this since we have the revenue down?
It's all about jobs. It's about getting people back to work. It's about creating new economies out here in the Amargosa Valley that has tremendous opportunity for new solar development that literally can put thousands of people back to work. In the short term, we have to invest in infrastructure, in our highways, in our roads, and our bridges. That can get Nevadans, particularly from the construction industry, back to work. We have 180,000 Nevadans who are currently unemployed. those people don't have disposable income. They're not putting money back into the economy, and that's affecting.
And to see the extended version of Senator Hersford's speech, go to KPVM.TV or visit the YouTube page.
And we'll have much more local news after the break. Please keep it here. When she was a child, her family was passing through Las Vegas coming from New York in the hopes that her dad could get a culinary job in California. They originally planned a one-night stay in Las Vegas, but they never left. Her dad was the longest-running employee at the Sands in Las Vegas when it closed down. From immigrant roots, the 7-term Congresswoman's grandparents could not have imagined that their granddaughter would achieve when they escaped the Holocaust all those years ago. She continues to move forward and has now announced her candidacy for the Nevada Senate seat against incumbent Dean Hiller.
We deserve better than Dean Hiller. We must do better than Dean Hiller. He doesn't represent me. He doesn't represent you. He doesn't represent anybody I know. But I do know this. I'm the only Democrat in the state of Nevada that can take him on and beat him, and that's why I want him to be Early on, when I first announced, there was a little rumbling. People said, you know, how is she going to play in the rurals? Well, I'm playing just fine. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it doesn't matter if you're a parent. I'm a mom. Doesn't matter if you're a mom and you live in Pahrump, or you live in Vegas, or you live in Elko, or Ely, or Winnemucca, or Lovelock, or any of the communities across this great state. What do you care about? You care about the same thing. You want to make sure you have a job and a little job security and some benefits so that you can raise your family, put a roof over their heads, food on the table, clothes on their back. That's what you want. You want to make sure your kid is going to get the best possible education in this country so that they can make something of themselves. Like Stephen, I'm the first person in my family to go to college. My dad has a 9th grade education. My mother graduated high school. They didn't care if I was pretty or popular in school. I was both. But they cared that I got good grades so that I could make something out of myself. And parents, moms care about health care. If their kids get sick, if they get sick, God forbid, they want to be able to have access to a doctor that they can afford. That's not asking much for anybody, and that's why I'm going to win this election, because I understand how people feel, again, in Winnemucca, in Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, Pahrump. We're all the same. We all care about the same things, and we all love our family and our country.
To see the extended interview with Congresswoman Berkeley, go to KPVM or visit our YouTube page.
And folks, we continue with part 2 of our conversation with Sharon Engel at her recent book signing at the Pahrump Senior Center.
Part of the PAC's mission is to make sure that we have legitimate votes across this nation. And remember, there's been a lot of mischief in the past elections, and we'd like to expose some of that and get rid of it we can. But it's going to be people who call themselves Tea Party or call themselves conservatives or call themselves Americans that want to get their voice back that will go in and help us clean up that precinct by precinct, those votes.
Do you think that the Tea Party and what it's done is a learning experience for Americans on how much they can do?
It absolutely has been a learning curve for the last 3 years because it has kind of been an awakening, if you want. One of my friends said, I was so happy when I was politically naive. I could go along with my life and not think about these things. But now that she's gotten involved in politics, she's, of course, is concerned and frightened and angry with what has happened at the government, both in the state level and the federal level, that she can no longer just go along with her life as usual. She now has gotten involved, and I think that's really what's happened in the last 3 years with most Americans, and truly most Nevadans are in that same group. They're wanting to know, what can we do? How do we get educated? How do we find out what the issues are and what we can do about our vote? We know that some strange things happened in the last election, and we don't want those things to happen again. I know in 4 counties in our state, our voting machines came up pre-marked for Harry Reid. How does that happen? What can we do about that? So those are the kinds of things that we're hoping our voice pack will answer. Not only will we get involved with elections in other states with our mission goal of making sure that the leadership changes in the U.S. Senate, but also with making sure that we get truth in our voting process and allowing people to have a group that they can go to, an organization that is really putting out some truth and talking about solutions, talking about what they can do.
At the Southwest Medical Associates open house, we caught up with local podiatrist Dr. Hambrook.
We have full range of services. We're all foot and ankle board certified, and I've been here for over 13 years, my 14th year, and I've been with Southwest, and it's wonderful, and we're so grateful to be able to be out here in Pahrump and be able to serve these great people, and so we're excited.
I saw you over there at Dr. Levasor's office over there off of Commercial. So now you've moved to the new facility. Are you liking the facility there a lot more? Do you have some more technology and things that you can use there? And tell me about the art of podiatry and the medicine of podiatry.
All right, well, the facility is amazing. It is absolutely state-of-the-art. It is beautiful. I was amazed. Yeah. They told me it was going to be really nice and state-of-the-art, and I thought, yeah. But it's amazing. It is beautiful. It's very comfortable. There's lots of room, and just has everything we need for podiatry. And we have a built-in radiology, and right there, and we can put the films just right up on our computer screens, and we can send them, we can, whatever we need to do, we can make them bigger, make them smaller, we can put them, change the different things that we need on there to look at different things.
So visually it's wonderful. Podiatry is so important because so many people have little things that can actually become a greater problem because of the fact that your feet are so important.
Absolutely. You know, we're all about prevention, and Southwest in general has just been at the forefront of prevention and preventative medicine. It's so important, and it makes so much sense. And in podiatry, it's just as important as anywhere else, maybe more so.
Do people come to you when they already have a problem, or should people have checkups with you to just get a regular checkup?
Yeah, they should, and especially the diabetics. We want to, even if, you know, a lot of times, well, everything's fine. Well, especially diabetics should be seen at least once a year. And we keep people out of a lot of trouble by doing that. And we've tried to educate them like that over the years. So most of them are very good, come in once a year, and we tell them if they have a problem, you know, get right in, and we'll get them right in.
Will you be speaking here at the Pahrump Nugget soon to an open audience?
I'm certainly ready to go. We've been doing a lot of things called they're combined visits, and it's basically where we can have a lot of people with the same problems come in, and instead of educating one person at a time, we can educate 80 people on the same subject.
Wonderful. We'll let people know when you're going to be speaking here, as well as you're going to be at the Take Charge event. That's at Southwest Medical, where they're going to be checking out people and going to different areas within the clinic, right?
Right.
And now for our Facebook question of the day. Having lost 30 Americans in Afghanistan this week, how do you feel the war is progressing? Has the death of Osama bin Laden weakened the Taliban, or do they seem stronger than ever? Here's what some of you had to say. Eugene says they're only as strong as we allow them to be. Bring our men and women home. Randy says, then nuke them. Reno says, when did the Taliban, which are religious extremists, become our enemy? I thought Al-Qaeda was our enemy. Karsten says, you see, Reno, it's whoever we want our enemy to be while we scavenge through their land and get some oil. Reno follows it up with no oil in Afghanistan. What it is, our enemy is whoever the corporate terrorists want it to be. Next up, fill in the blank.
That's something.
Very opinionated folks out there.
Yeah, thanks.
And folks, we're going to have a look at your 7-day forecast and weather with Zach Fuentes right after this break.
News 46 weather is brought to you by Healthcare Partners Medical Group, with 5 locations in Pahrump. Local doctors and professional staff providing total care from infancy to seniors. News 46 weather is also brought to you by your local dairy farmers. Dairy products are very important in maintaining a healthy body. For more information, you can visit their website at nevadadairycouncil.org.
Welcome back. I'm Zach Fuentes here with your weather. Today we had sunny skies. Our high was at 101 degrees, and our winds were at out of the south-southwest at up to 6 miles per hour. Our gusts were looking to be at up to 15 miles per hour, and our barometric pressure was holding steady at 29.97. Our UV index has gone down a little bit at 8, which is still very high, and our humidity was 14%. Our sunrise was at 5:56 a.m., and our record high was back in 1978 at 114 degrees. Tonight we're looking at clear skies, an overnight low of 78, and our winds are looking to come out of the southwest at 6 miles per hour. Our gusts are expected to be at up to 13 miles per hour, and our humidity is going down just a little bit there at 13%. Our sunset is looking to be at 7:43 p.m., and our record low was at 64 degrees back in 1957. Tomorrow we're looking at sunny skies once again, and again a high of 101 degrees. Our low is looking to be at 75 degrees, and our winds are expected to come out of the south-southwest at 7 miles per hour. Our gusts are at up to 22 miles per hour, and our humidity is going down significantly at 5%. The UV index is still going to be at 8, very high, and sunrise is expected to be at 5:57 a.m. And our 7-day forecast, we're looking at the triple digits ranging from like 101 to 100 for about 4 days there. And then we get a little bit of relief. We're going to go back into the double digits starting Sunday, 97 to 98. And our overnight lows are looking pretty comfortable around the 70s. And entering Conesville, our worst weather today was in Conesville, Iowa, where they had drenching thunderstorms and strong winds. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Zach. Folks, make sure to stay tuned after the weather today for Community Viewpoint, and their guest will be Paula Glidden here to talk about the Pahrump Fair and Festival. And that's going to do it for this edition of News 46. I'm Rick Vale.
And I'm Norma Gino Paddock.
And from everyone up here on the Hill at KPVM, we wish you a safe evening, and we'll see you here again tomorrow night. Until then, good night,
Pahrump.